Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's adventure is a hike-in hammock overnighter. No hot tent, no heater, just out here enjoying simple hiking and camping. It is a little bit warm today though. It is plus 5 degrees Celsius. It is supposed to go down to 0 to negative 2 degrees Celsius, somewhere's in there. Not very cold, actually kind of like summertime for me, to be totally honest. So this hammock is definitely going to be nice and warm in those temperatures with the integrated under quilt and a top quilt inside. Plus I've got a down jacket with me and Boomer will be in here with me as well. So we'll be totally, absolutely warm. So the bonus of bringing the hammock, it is set up within about 5 minutes. Hammock, tarp, sleep system, ready to go, which means it is now time to start on a hot coffee. So let's get started with that. Alright guys, I've got my cup of hot coffee on the go right now, and it is absolutely silent out here. The only thing I can hear is the wind pushing through the tops of the spruce trees. Absolutely silent. The odd bird every now and then calling to one another. And that is basically about it. So, it being a very mild day today, this is actually really nice. I don't have to stay bulked up with a big jacket. I didn't have to bring a big sleeping bag. I just brought the top quilt. And it's just nice to be able to sit here and relax without being bundled up. So, going to kick back and enjoy this coffee. And then it is going to be time to figure out where I'm going to put the fire. I've got a great idea right where the coffee kit is, kind of in that area. And I'll continue to use the rock as a little bit of a prep area for cooking. But I am going to be cooking on an open fire this evening, so I do need some wood and get this kind of camp area straightened up and ready for the evening. So, cheers guys. Let's enjoy this coffee. Alright guys, I've got the campfire going, very small, and a couple things I want to mention right off the bat. Number one, my tarp and hammock is right in the path of all of these embers, which is a no-no. I'm going to be having this fire very, very small. I certainly do not need it to warm up, although it's nice to kind of warm the hands and fingers a little bit. I do not need it for heat. I have clothing that I dressed for the occasion. I've got a really warm sleep system, so this is not for warmth. I do have a saw with me and a knife. If I do need or want to process larger pieces of wood, I can do that. My goal is to keep this fire very, very small. Unfortunately, burning the softwood, my eyes are watering right now because it means it's going to be a smoky fire. It's going to spit embers a lot, which is bad, but it is readily available. I'm in a forest where there's all kinds of wood that I can snap off with my hands and not need an axe or saw to process. Of course, I bring those tools just in case. Lighting a fire in the winter time, or any time for that matter, is very, very, very simple. I'll explain it to you for basic principles of how to light a fire in the winter or in wet conditions. Much the same way I explain it to my own children. I like to use a system of 1s, 2s, and 3s. What that means is, number one, pencil lead size pieces of wood. Like we're talking the smallest of the smallest twigs. Number 1s. You're going to need most of number 1s out of any type of wood. So get a lot of number 1s. What I like to recommend is getting a bundle as fat as your forearm of just number 1s, a whole bunch of little twigs. Next is number 2s, which is the size of the pencil. So not the pencil lead, but the actual pencil diameter. That, the size of your wrist. After that, your number 3s are basically the size of the diameter of your pinky or your thumb, depending on how wet the wood is. With that, just get a handful. You know, you don't really need that much. 10, 15 pieces of that. That is the makings of your fire. Your 1s will catch, your 2s will catch, your 3s will eventually burn. After that, you've got a fire. Very, very simple. Now, like I said, this is going to be a little smoky. I'm on the wrong side of it right now, but I'm hoping later on this wind will actually die down because there is a breeze, and it should go off that direction. Should. We'll see what happens, but right now, I'm basically just building up a coal bed. I don't want to disturb the fire a whole lot because every time I disturb it, it's going to throw embers. I do have a pile of hardwood right next to a small pile of softwood. I'm not going to collect a whole bunch of wood because I just simply don't need it. I want a nice little warm area, the ambience, the sound of the cracking fire, the smell, the camp vibe. Plus I'm going to be using it to cook. But I do have to be very, very mindful of the embers going towards my, my hammock. Also, I want to mention one thing. My gas canister, I moved on the other side on purpose so it doesn't overheat on the stump and possibly explode. So there's a couple things to be mindful of when you're doing this. But this will be a nice size fire, I think, to basically burn away. I'm going to get some of these hardwood pieces on here now to build up some dense coals. And hopefully, by the time those burn down, it'll be roughly about the time to start cooking supper. Whew. And that is very smoky. That hardwood will actually minimize the smoke as well. So we'll let that do its thing, burn down. I might collect a couple more pieces. If I could source one of these wrist-sized pieces of hardwood around here that is actually dead and seasoned and ready to burn, I will prep that. Maybe baton some of it down if I can find a decent piece. That way I can get rid of the smoke and cook on the fire. So let's let this do its thing for a minute. Alright guys, looking for a piece of hardwood. In the winter time, this can be a little bit difficult to pick up on the very subtle telltale signs of dead hardwood. Often if you find a clump of trees that look like this, the limbs on some of these trees will actually be dead and ready to burn. I can see one that's probably about 30 feet long, and it's about the size of my forearm in diameter, quite long. The problem is it's above my head. The bonus is this is a nest of trees, so I can climb inside of the tree limbs and climb up high enough to cut on the top of the branch, and hopefully that'll drop down. So I'm going to give it my best effort here to get up there, cut that, and that will be enough wood for the entire trip out of that one hardwood branch. The trick is wedging myself in these good enough to be able to push off of the branch without pushing myself out of the tree. It's definitely dead enough to burn, and it's very, very dry. And there we go. There's actually two up here, but I only need just the one. Alright guys, so I've got all my firewood prepped up that I'm going to need. The fire is stoked up right now with a couple of those pieces of wood that I split, that hardwood. As you guys can see, the smoke's blowing a little bit this way. It's kind of going off to the side actually, so the breeze is starting to change. It is getting later in the day and I am absolutely starving. The meal that I have planned is going to be done in two parts. One, I'm going to be doing a foil packet. Two, I'm going to be cooking over direct flame. So foil packets generally take about an hour to cook. So while that's doing its flame up process, it'd be a good opportunity for me right now to prep up my food, get everything ready, and then I can at least get the foil packet next to the fire and that'll start doing its thing. And then basically once that's done, I can set it off to the side, put my grill over top of the fire and slap on some meat and get that thing sizzling. So let's get some food prep done. Alright guys, it's that time in the evening where everything is cleaned up, tucked away for the evening, and the fire is ripping. We're probably down to maybe 20% left of our wood. Ideally I could get some more, but I don't think I need any more. It's just about nightfall here in the forest. That is putting out enough heat that it's actually rolling in the hammock right now. Feels pretty good. The temperatures are holding at 3 degrees Celsius right now. I don't think I'm going to shut the tarp this evening. If the winds pick up, I'll definitely drop it down, but that'll have to be after the fire goes out for obvious reasons. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This hammock's pretty warm. I'll be dressed properly. Plus, I've got Boomer and the top quilt in here. I don't think the wind's going to do any kind of damage as far as lofting heat away this evening, even after the fire goes out. So right now, just kind of mesmerized staring at it. It's doing all kinds of interesting patterns there. Got a mixture of soft and hardwood on there right now, so not a lot of embers, but definitely a nice little snap and crackle to it. So I've got my sit pad over here, and this is basically my doormat. So when I take my boots off, I'll have somewhere to put my feet on the snow, stand up, get out of my overalls, throw everything inside the hammock. The backpack is underneath the tarp just in case it does rain or snow overnight. It'll be protected, and all in all, I think everything's going to be really, really nice and quiet out here. Got my light hanging up here on the tarp. I can move that inside of the hammock later on this evening if I choose to. But honestly, I think it's going to be a pretty early night. I'm exhausted from walking around in this heavy, wet snow all day, gathering a little bit of firewood, and just exploring around the forest too when the camera's off. So definitely wore out, and it's going to be really nice to kick back and relax. So we're going to be climbing in here in just a minute. I got to get Boomer out of this sweater because it is a little damp. And we're going to get nice and cozy and probably call it a night. All right, guys, jumping into the hammock right now, and already been in here for like 60 seconds. I can feel the heat coming through the underquilt. Super comfortable and very, very warm. This light up here is incredibly bright. I'm going to be shutting that off in a moment. There is a breeze out there, but I cannot feel anything under this underquilt, so I'm just going to leave the tarp open all night. Looking out there, the campfire is just about burned out, so no worries there. And I am absolutely beat. Boomer is cuddled up in his jacket, he's got his hood on. And, well, it's time to shut this light off. So I'm going to say goodnight to you guys, and I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning for coffee. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful, very, very silent and sunny and frozen morning this morning. So, things got cold last night. It got down to minus 5 degrees Celsius last night, which is not terribly cold, but it did get down to freezing, which was actually very, very refreshing. You ever get to that transition where it's warm during the day and then in the evening it's like a refreshing cold? It's crisp, but it's enough you could toss over your sleeping bag down to your waist and kind of let the cold air like loft in. Just that crispness where it's borderline hot and cold in the sleeping bag. I don't know how to explain it. It was just beautifully crisp. That's all I could say. So waking up early this morning, everything around here is frozen back to winter. I mean, all this stuff is like ice. So I did have to sleep with my water bottle and my it's frozen to the ground, and my little canister, not the stove but just the canister, to keep those warm and so they didn't freeze. The canister is basically empty. I got one last coffee out of that, so RIP. Time to replace. My boots are inside right now warming up in the down underquilt, so I'm going to keep those nice and warm. I'm wearing my down pants and my down slip-on booties, my camp booties, which are incredible for walking around with. Super easy to slip these on, jump out of the hammock, jump back in, whatever I got to do. Super, super simple. So, got a campfire going this morning. I wasn't really planning on that, but there was just enough wood left to kind of spark that. And I apologize to Matthew Posa. I got that one fire steel strike in the fire lit. It actually happened twice because I sparked it, it lit, and then I had to move the camera and it was taken off too fast, so I actually snuffed it out. And then I came back over and threw one single spark in there with one strike and it lit again. So 2 times. If you guys don't know Matthew Posa, I'm sure you do. Yeah, he's here on YouTube as well. So 2 strikes, 2 successful fires. It actually happens very often, just not on camera. Just practice and due diligence, you know, and it'll happen. It's just hard to get on camera. So, hot coffee this morning, beautiful sunshine, blue skies up there, it looks like. I did hear a few blue jays chirping around here and some squirrels scratching away at the trees. Obviously, I left the tarp open all night last night. It didn't get windy. It was just crisp and beautiful. I love sleeping in hammocks on nights like it is right now. If it was clear sky all night and the moon was out and it's crisp and cool, you look out, total darkness. It's actually not darkness because the moonlight lights up the whole forest. I've been here many times in my hammock where I've looked out and just been like, wow, I'm gonna have to pull my toque down over my face to go to sleep because it's like daylight. So if I were staying another night tonight, it looks like a high probability of that happening. Unfortunately, I'm not. So that fire is going to burn for probably about 20 minutes, if that. Boomer's up doing his rounds, checking things out. I've got a coffee and no breakfast this morning as usual because we eat snacks very early in the hammock, granola bars and whatnot. So it's going to be hot coffee and then a very, very simple pack up. Honestly, this takes like 2 minutes real time. Drop the strings, throw the tarp in, grab the whole hammock one piece, jam it in, and off I go. So, cheers guys. Morning coffee and campfire. Alright guys, I've got everything packed up inside the bag. Campfire's just about out. I'm going to have to kick some snow and stuff on top of that. pack up was very, very quick, very simple as always with hammock camping, super fast, which is why I love it. So until next time, peace out guys. I'll catch you in the next episode.